Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good night, good afternoon, whatever part of the world you're on today, and whatever time you're watching this. This episode of As the Tarot Turns is brought to you on purpose with purpose. I am your host and Nacho Mama. Some people call me Crystal, some people call me Criddle, like Riddle with a C. Either way, Nacho Mama is a personality, not a person. Today we're going to read the Why Did They Do It for Pisces. I've realized that I've been doing a lot of whatever spirit wants you to know reading, so I figured I would ask a very specific question. And the question I'm asking today is, why did they do it? Whatever it is for you. Why did they do it, Pisces? And that's what we're going to read today. So please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you so feel inclined. I'm super, super, super grateful to be where I'm at, man. Much love and respect to all of you that have subscribed, and to all of you that are about to. Much love and respect. Pisces. Why did they do it, Pisces? Universe, Source, Spirit, please use me as a conduit to express the best message of why they did it for Pisces, for the Pisces collective that'll be watching this video. Pisces. Why did they do it, Pisces? Please and thank you. So mote it be. Amen. The moon made me do it. They're blaming it on the moon because the moon was in Gatorade, because Mercury's in Gatorade and Haterade, and the moon made me do it. So they weren't following their intuition. They felt kind of like in the dark. And that's the Pisces card. Maybe they were in the dark about you, Pisces. With disillusion, they had some sort of illusion in their mind, like they made up some sort of story in their head and turned it into the truth without asking any questions. I believe that that they made up some story and then turned it into the truth. You know, it's funny how we do that sometimes when we don't ask questions, when we just assume. I think they made up a lot of assumptions, Pisces. Or they could be blaming it straight up on the moon, like the moon made me do it. Oh, man. Anyways, sorry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they made up some story in their mind and then they believed it. You know, whatever assumptions that they made about you, whatever assumptions they made about the situation, they totally believe them. And they're very determined on that. That is the truth. That is the truth. There is no other truth, because this is the story that I've made up in my mind, and this is the story that I'm going to repeat, and this is the story, this is how it went. And they didn't ask any questions. You know, they didn't ask you about it. You know, they just assumed. I feel like they were really in the dark, man. Ooh, in the Tower. Yeah, I really think they made up this whole scenario in their mind and they believe it to be true. Whatever it is that they've made up about you, they definitely believe it to be the truth, you know. And I think there's a lack of communication and lack of real communication. It's like only made up stories, and only, you know, like, oh, well, they were talking to me telepathically through this and this and this, so the moon made me do it. The moon made me do it. But they really neglected to ask any questions. They neglected to actually, you know, find out the truth. They neglected to hear you when you were telling them. They weren't listening to understand and to empathize. They were listening to respond, or to sympathize. You know, there's a definite difference between sympathy and empathy. You know, empathy is like, wow, man, I can really totally relate to how you must feel, like really trying to put yourself in another person's shoes. You know, and sympathy is like, wow, I'm so glad that, you know, I'm so sorry for you, and I'm so glad that that's not me, you know. And I think that this person made up some stories in their mind and really didn't try to put themselves in your shoes. They neglected to ask questions. They neglected to get the truth. They neglected to actually listen. You know, they weren't listening to understand. They were listening to respond. You know, and they struggle to empathize. They struggle to put themselves in your shoes. Like they have never put themselves in your shoes. They only, it's like they only have sympathy, not empathy. You know, oh, I can totally I'm so sorry that that happened to you, but I'm so glad it's not me, but they don't really understand like how you feel. Instead, they just make assumptions about how you feel. They assume that you feel one way, or another, and they make up all these stories in their mind and then turn it into the truth. And they're just holding on to that. Like they aren't letting that go. Yeah, with the devil. They are very much holding on to whatever this story is that they've made up in their mind, whatever conflict they have in their head. They probably go over it, over and over it in their head all the time, without ever actually asking you any questions. Yeah, they can't release that. They can't release whatever this story is that they have in their head. Like they have made up this story, made up their mind that that is the truth, and that is their truth that they're sticking with. Even though it might not be the truth, it's their truth. And they refuse to see it any other way. But they haven't even asked any questions. They haven't tried to talk to you. They haven't been vulnerable with you. They haven't communicated with you. Like they're scared of your response. They're scared of, there's a lot of fear here, and a lot of it is based off of the assumptions that they've made in their own mind, the story that they've told themselves. Like that's, like if you go and tell them something that is against what it is that they believe, then that breaks down their whole structure of everything, of all the reasons why they did what they've done. If you go and tell them some truth that contradicts what it was, that the story that they told in their mind, then it's going to break down their whole structure of everything that they thought, So they're scared of not being the truth. So they're holding on to that truth as tightly as they can. They've made up some sort of story in their mind and they are sticking to it, because anything other than that, will threaten their structure that they've built, will threaten their truth that they've built inside their mind. Because to them, that is the truth. Even though it's not the truth, they believe it to be true. Although it's based off of assumption. I think this person has made a lot of assumptions. They did it because they assumed stuff. They did it because the moon made me do it. Lunacy. We have the death in reverse. Yeah. And they're not letting go of it. They won't let go of whatever story that they've made up in their mind. Like that's their story. That's the story of the way that it is. That's the way it happened. They don't see it any other way. They're resistant. They're resistant to change. They're resistant to any other opinions. Like if it challenges the truth that they've already made up in their mind, then they're resistant for it. They're resistant to it. They'll fight you about it. They refuse to let go of whatever this story is that they made up in their mind, whatever assumptions they have turned into the truth. That's why they did it, Pisces. The moon made me do it, because it's all in their head. And whatever's in their head, I mean, it's valid for them. It's valid enough to the point that they are going to fight you over it. They're going to fight you over anything that challenges that reality, because that's been their reality. And if you go in and throw in anything other than that, they're going to fight you over it, because that's the truth for them. And they don't want to see it any other way. They're not going to let go of it anytime soon. They're resistant to that for sure. So they did it because they made a bunch of assumptions and they believed them to be true. That's why they did it, Pisces. This is your Why Did They Do It mini read for Pisces. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you so feel inclined. And until next time, Nacho Mama out. Vroom, beep, beep.